Strategy is your superpower. How to think, decide, and win. Introduction, your untapped power. Imagine standing at the edge of a dense, unknown forest. Most people see only a wall of trees, a barrier of confusion and risk. They hesitate, turn back, or follow the worn path everyone else uses, even if it leads nowhere they truly want to go. Now, imagine you had a special map and a keen sense of direction others couldn't see. The forest is still there, but it transforms from a frightening obstacle into a landscape of possibility, a place where you can navigate, explore, and find hidden treasures. This book is about giving you that map and that innate sense of direction. It is not about complex theories reserved for generals in war rooms or CEOs in skyscrapers. This is about a practical, powerful skill that you already possess in a dormant state, waiting to be awakened and honed. We are going to unlock your ability to see the patterns in the chaos, to make decisions with quiet confidence, and to move through the world not as a passive passenger, but as the pilot of your own life. Consider this your first step out of the crowd standing at the tree line. The journey into your own potential begins with a single, deliberate choice to step forward. Welcome to the art of claiming your advantage. This book is your training manual for developing your most impactful personal superpower, strategic thinking. We will break down this grand idea into clear, actionable parts you can practice every day. Think of it as building a new mental muscle, one that lets you think further ahead, decide with more clarity, and act with greater purpose. Each chapter is designed like a mission, building on the last, equipping you with a new piece of your strategic toolkit. You will learn to zoom out to see the whole game board, to ask the questions that reveal root causes, and to turn obstacles into your stepping stones. We will use stories, simple exercises, and direct language to make these concepts stick. My promise to you is this: by the end of this journey, you will not just understand strategy, you will feel it. You will catch yourself naturally thinking in new ways, spotting opportunities others miss, and crafting a path toward the future you actively choose. Get ready to move from feeling like life is happening to you to knowing you are happening to life. Let's begin. Chapter 1. See the game everyone else misses. Maria stared at her chaotic kitchen, overwhelmed. Breakfast mess, packed lunches, her work notes scattered, all needed attention before the school run. She felt the familiar panic of too much to do in too little time. Then she remembered a tip about zooming out. She took one deep breath and physically stepped back to the doorway. From there, she didn't see individual problems, she saw a system. The lunchboxes were near the fridge. The crumbs were concentrated by the toaster. Her papers were on the path from the coffee pot to the door. Instantly, a sequence appeared. Clear papers first, coffee in hand, wipe toaster area while waiting, assemble lunches in one spot. In 3 focused minutes, the chaos was ordered. This simple act of changing perspective is your first strategic superpower. It is the shift from being lost in the weeds to seeing the shape of the whole garden. Most of us live our lives stuck in the close-up view, reacting to whatever demand is screaming loudest. We see the urgent email, the upset customer, the unexpected bill. This is like playing a game of chess while only looking at one square at a time. You see a pawn in front of you, so you move it, unaware of the bishop lining up from across the board. A strategic thinker learns to lift their gaze. They see the entire chessboard, the relationships between pieces, the open lanes, the vulnerabilities and strengths. This zooming out is a conscious choice to pause and ask, what is the real goal here? What are all the moving parts? How do they connect? This perspective reveals patterns and paths that are invisible from the ground level. Let's practice this with your own life. Think of a current challenge, big or small. It could be a project at work, a personal goal, or a recurring argument. Now in your mind, pull the camera back. If your challenge is a single tree, describe the forest it's in. Who else is involved? What are the underlying pressures? What happens 1 week or 1 year from now if nothing changes? You are not solving it yet. You are just observing the bigger picture. This feels strange at first because we are trained to react quickly. But this pause is where power is born. It creates a space between the event and your response, and in that space lies your freedom to choose a better move. The magic of seeing the whole board is that it turns confusion into clarity. A tangled knot of problems often unravels when you see the single thread that, if pulled, loosens everything else. In Maria's kitchen, the thread was location. Things were not where they needed to be for the task. In a team conflict, the thread might be a missed communication. In a financial squeeze, it might be one recurring, unnecessary expense. By seeing the system, you stop fighting symptoms and start addressing causes. Your energy stops leaking in a dozen directions and starts flowing in one powerful, focused stream toward a real solution. Developing this skill requires intentional practice. Start small with low-stakes situations. In a meeting, listen not just to what is being said, but to what is not being said, the goals and worries hiding between the lines. Watch a movie and map out not just the protagonist's goal, but the goals of every major character. See how they clash and align. On your commute, observe the flow of traffic not as a frustrated driver, but as a student of systems. Where are the bottlenecks? Why do they form? This daily practice rewires your brain to automatically seek the wider view. Soon, it becomes your default setting. This chapter is your invitation to step into the role of the observer, the mapmaker, the strategist. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a dynamic landscape you can learn to navigate. Seeing the game is the prerequisite for playing it well. It is the foundation upon which every other strategic skill is built. From this moment forward, challenge yourself to look for the board in every situation. Ask, what am I not seeing? The answers will surprise you. They will give you a calm confidence because you will no longer be a piece being moved. You will be the player who understands the game. Let's move to the next step, deciding where you, the player, actually want to go. Chapter 2. From Passenger to Pilot, Taking Control. Leo had been a passenger on the career bus for 10 years. He took the route offered, got off at the stops his manager suggested, and watched the scenery of promotions pass by others' windows. One Monday, a new young colleague was assigned to lead the project Leo had dreamed of. That night, he looked in the mirror and asked a terrifying question: where is my bus even going? He had never chosen a destination. He had just been riding. The next morning, Leo didn't quit. He did something more powerful. He pulled out a blank notebook and wrote at the top, "If I were the pilot of my career, not a passenger, what would my flight plan look like?" This single act of writing began a seismic shift from drift to direction. So many of us live like Leo, on autopilot. We follow the default path laid out by our education, our first job, our family's expectations. We make small, reactive adjustments, a slight turn to avoid a pothole, but we never grab the wheel and decide on a new destination. This feels safe because it's familiar, but it also leads to a quiet, nagging feeling of restlessness, a sense that you're living a life designed by someone else. Strategic thinking starts with rejecting this passive role. It declares that you are not just along for the ride. You are the one holding the map. You might not control the weather or the traffic, but you absolutely control your intended direction, your speed, and your next turn. Taking control begins with a simple but profound act, defining your own destination statement. This is not a vague wish like be happy or be successful. It is a clear present-tense description of what you are intentionally moving toward. For example, I am building a skill set in digital marketing that makes me the go-to expert in my company. Or I am creating a home environment that is peaceful, playful, and full of connection. Write it down. Speak it out loud. This statement acts as your personal North Star. Every decision, big or small, can now be measured against it. Does this new task move me toward my destination? Does this habit? Does this relationship? Imagine your life as a ship in a vast ocean. Without a chosen destination, any wind is the right wind. And you simply drift wherever the currents take you, often in circles. With a destination, you can hoist your sails to catch the favorable winds and steer to correct for the unfavorable ones. The storms still come. The waves still rock the boat. But you are no longer lost. You are on a voyage. This mindset transforms challenges from reasons to quit into mere navigational hazards to be plotted around. The The frustration Leo felt when passed over for the project didn't disappear, but it changed. It became a specific data point. His current route was not leading to his desired destination. This created motivation for change, not just despair. Your first mission is to craft your destination statement for one key area of your life. Take 15 minutes of quiet time. Ask yourself, in this area, what does a true win look and feel like 1 year from now? Describe it with sensory detail. What will you see, do, and feel? Now distill that into 1 or 2 powerful sentences. Post it where you will see it daily. This is not a prison sentence. It is a liberating declaration. You can change it as you grow. But for now, it gives you a criterion for choice. It turns the vague anxiety of "is this right?" into the clear question, "is this aligned?" Becoming the pilot is not about having a perfect, rigid plan from start to finish. It is about embracing the authority to choose your heading. It is knowing that if you don't pick a direction, the world will pick one for you by default. Leo, with his new flight plan, started saying no to tasks that didn't align and yes to small opportunities that did. He sought a mentor. He enrolled in a course. The bus passenger was gone. In his place was a pilot charting his own course. The winds of office politics and chance still blew, but now he used them. Your journey of strategic action starts here, with your hands on the wheel. Where will you choose to go first? Chapter 3. Think in tomorrow, not just today. Young Aisha saved her allowance for months, dreaming of the shiny new skateboard in the shop window. The day she had enough, she raced to buy it. For a week, she was the happiest kid on the block. Then the big school camping trip was announced. The cost was exactly what she had spent on the skateboard. As her friends packed their gear, Aisha stayed home, her joy now hollow. She had traded a fleeting want for a lasting memory. This childhood lesson is one we often forget as adults. Every choice is a trade with your future self. Strategic thinking is the practice of becoming a better friend to that person you are becoming. We are hardwired to prefer the reward right in front of us. This is why we scroll on our phones instead of reading a book, eat the dessert instead of skipping it, or buy the impulse item instead of saving. Our present self screams for instant gratification. Our future self, who is weak, tired, or broke, is silent in this moment because they don't exist yet. A strategist learns to give that future self a voice. They ask in every decision, how will the me of next month or next year feel about this choice? This simple question is a time travel superpower. It builds a bridge of responsibility between who you are now and who you will become. Thinking in tomorrow requires practicing foresight fluency. This isn't about predicting the stock market. It's about seeing the obvious consequences that are often ignored. If I skip my workout today, my future self will feel less energy and more stress. If I send that angry email now, my future self will have to deal with the damaged relationship. If I invest an hour in learning a new skill, my future self will have more options. Start by playing the "then what" game with your small decisions. I'll hit snooze. Then what? I'll be rushed and stressed. I'll buy this online. Then what? I'll feel a brief thrill, then regret when the credit card bill comes. You are training your brain to play the whole tape, not just the exciting preview. Let's apply this to something bigger, your career or personal growth. Project yourself 1 year forward. Don't just wish for a better job or a healthier body. Work backwards. Ask, for future me to have that, what does present me need to start doing today? Maybe it's making 1 new professional connection per week. Maybe it's preparing healthy lunches every Sunday. The action today might be tiny, but it is a direct contract with your future. This backward planning makes the path clear. It turns a scary, giant goal into a simple, daily protocol. You are no longer hopping for a better tomorrow. You are engineering it, one deliberate brick at a time. This mindset also protects you from future blindness, where you make a choice that seems good now but steals from your future options. A classic example is burning a bridge with a former employer or colleague in a moment of frustration. The present self feels righteous. The future self, who might need a reference or encounter that person in a new role, pays the price. The strategist asks, does this choice open doors or close them? They make choices that keep their future landscape wide open, full of possibilities and goodwill, not littered with burned bridges and dead ends. Aisha learned her lesson. The next time she wanted a new video game, she paused. She thought about the upcoming class trip to the science museum. She pictured herself there with her friends, versus sitting at home with a game she'd likely beat in a week. She chose the trip. The joy of the experience lasted far longer than the game ever could. Start being the kind of friend to your future self that you would want by your side. Make choices they will thank you for. Deposit into the bank account of your future well-being, happiness, and success. When you wake up each day, ask, what can I do today that the me of tomorrow will be proud of? That question, answered consistently, is the engine of a life strategically built for lasting fulfillment. Chapter 4. The Question Behind the Question. The bakery was failing. Alina, the owner, saw the empty shelves at closing and felt despair. Her first question was, how do I get more customers? So she bought expensive ads. A few people came, but not enough. She then asked, how do I cut costs? She switched to cheaper ingredients. Regulars noticed and stopped coming. The problem got worse. One afternoon, exhausted, she sat with her last loyal customer, an elderly man named Henry. He said gently, Alina, why did you love this place when it opened? She remembered the smell of real butter, the joy of perfect croissants. Henry then asked, why did people love it then? The real problem wasn't foot traffic or cost. It was that she had lost the magic that made people come in the first place. The right question changed everything. We are taught from a young age to find answers, but strategists know the true power lies in finding the right question. Most of us, like Alina, ask surface-level questions that only treat symptoms. Sales are down. How do we sell more? Team is unhappy. How do we boost morale? These questions often lead to short-term, costly fixes that don't last. The question behind the question is the one that digs deeper, that seeks the root cause. It transforms, how do I fix this? Into, why is this happening? And then into, what is the real outcome I want? This shift in inquiry is like using a metal detector instead of a shovel. You stop moving piles of dirt and start locating the buried treasure, or the buried pipe causing the leak. The most powerful tool for this is the 5 whys. It's simple. When faced with a problem, ask why, and then ask why about that answer 4 more times. Let's try it with a common problem. I never have time to exercise. 1 why, because my evenings are too busy. 2 why, because I'm always catching up on work emails after dinner. 3 why, because I can't focus during the day due to constant interruptions. 4 why, because my team pings me with questions all the time. 5 why, because we don't have a shared system for common answers. The root cause isn't laziness, it's a missing work process. The solution isn't try harder, it's create a team FAQ doc. The right question revealed the real lever to pull. Applying this changes your role from a frantic firefighter to a skilled detective. In any confusing situation, your first job is not to act but to investigate. Gather information without judgment. Look for patterns in the why answers. Often, you'll find the root cause is something you haven't considered or something you have the power to change directly. This process builds immense intellectual humility. It forces you to admit, I might not understand this problem at all yet. That admission is not weakness. It is the birthplace of true insight and effective action. It saves you from wasting energy on solutions that don't address the core issue. Start practicing this with small, daily frustrations. Your child is always late for school. Don't just yell, hurry up. Ask, why are we late? We can't find shoes. Why can't we find shoes? They're never in the same place. Why aren't they in the same place? We take them off wherever. The root cause is a lack of a designated shoe home. The solution is a basket by the door. This seems obvious, but without the whys, you just feel stressed every morning. By asking better questions, you design a system that solves the problem permanently. You become an architect of smooth operations, not a critic of chaos. Alina went back to basics. She asked new questions. What 3 products did people originally love most? Who are my ideal customers and what do they truly value? She stopped the ads, went back to quality ingredients, and focused on perfecting her core offerings. She even put a small sign in the window, "Back to the butter." Slowly, the regulars returned, bringing friends. The bakery didn't just survive, it became a beloved anchor of the neighborhood. Her transformation began not with a better answer, but with a better question. Make it your mission to become a master question asker. Before you seek a solution, dig for the root. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. What problem are you facing today that needs a better why? Chapter 5. Your Decision Engine, Clear Thinking in Foggy Times. Captain Rivera faced a nightmare. A storm had crippled her cargo ship and the main radio was dead. The navigation computer showed conflicting data. Her crew looked to her, eyes wide with fear. She felt a wave of panic, then heard her old mentor's voice. "When the fog is thickest, trust your simplest tools." She grabbed a paper chart, a ruler, and a pencil. She plotted their last known position, estimated the wind and current, and drew a single, clear line to the nearest safe port. The line wasn't perfect, but it was a decision. The crew snapped into action, following the course. Hours later, they sailed into calm waters. In chaos, a simple, clear process had cut through the noise. We all face our own storms, times of high pressure, too much information, and paralyzing uncertainty. In these moments, our brains default to fear or intuition, which can lead to rash choices or frozen inaction. A strategist builds a decision engine, a reliable step-by-step process that works even under stress. This chapter gives you that engine. It's a 2-page plan you can use for any choice, from buying a car to changing careers. The goal is not to find the perfect decision, because that rarely exists. The goal is to make a strong decision with clarity and confidence, so you can move forward without looking back. Page 1 of your decision engine is the map. Its sole purpose is to get the problem out of your swirling head and onto stable paper. At the top, write your decision in one sentence. "I am deciding whether to." Then draw 3 columns. In column A, list every option you have, including the do-nothing option. In column B, for each option, list the potential benefits and opportunities, the what could go right. In column C, list the risks and costs, the what could go wrong. Do not filter or judge, just brain dump. This act alone reduces anxiety by 50%. You have just transformed a scary monster in the shadows into a visible list on a page. You can now see the battlefield. Page 2 is the compass. This is where you apply your values and goals to navigate the map. First, review your destination statement from Chapter 2. Which option best aligns with where you're trying to go? Star it. Next, apply the 10-10-10 rule. How will I feel about this decision in 10 days, in 10 months, in 10 years? This forces you out of short-term emotion. Finally, use the regret minimization test. When I'm 80 years old, looking back, which choice would I most regret not taking? This highlights your true priorities. By the end of page 2, one option will often feel clearer, more aligned, and less frightening. The power of this engine is its separation of analysis, page 1, from intuition and values, page 2. Most of us mix them up, letting our fears or hopes distort the facts, or letting cold facts ignore our deepest needs. This process honors both. It tells your logical brain, you will get your turn to analyze, and tells your emotional heart, you will get your turn to weigh in. This internal collaboration leads to integrated, whole-person decisions you can truly own. You are no longer at war with yourself. You are running an efficient, respectful committee meeting inside your own mind. Start practicing with a small decision this week. Should you join a new club, renegotiate your internet bill, use the 2-page engine? You will find that even for small things, it brings surprising clarity and ends mental looping. As you practice, the process will become faster and more internal. Soon, under pressure, you'll mentally run through the steps in seconds. You'll develop the captain's calm. Captain Rivera's simple tools saved her ship. Your decision engine will save your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. It turns you from a victim of circumstance into the authoritative captain of your choices. What decision have you been putting off that needs this clear, 2-page treatment today? Chapter 6: The Map and the Compass, Planning to Win. Liam dreamed of hiking the famous Misty Ridge Trail. He bought the best gear, packed his bag, and drove to the trailhead full of excitement. The path started clear but soon split into 3 faint tracks. He guessed and went left. An hour later, he was lost in thick woods, his energy draining on dead-end animal paths. He had a map and compass in his bag but never thought to use them. Defeated, he turned back. His mistake wasn't a lack of desire or gear. It was the belief that a goal alone is enough. A dream is a direction, but a plan is the actual path. Without it, even the strongest willpower gets lost in the underbrush of daily life. We all have our Misty Ridge, a big, exciting goal. I want to start a business. I want to get in shape. I want to write a book. We feel a burst of motivation and take off running. But motivation is fuel that burns fast. When we hit the first obstacle or fork in the road, we stall. A strategist knows that willpower is for emergencies. Systems are for success. This chapter is about building your flexible plan, a system that guides you step by step without breaking when life happens. It combines the map, the step-by-step actions with the compass, your core, why that keeps you oriented when you veer off course. Building your map starts with backward planning. Stand at your goal, your personal Misty Ridge summit, and look backwards to where you are now. Ask, what is the very last thing I need to do right before I achieve this? Then, and what needs to happen right before that? Keep chaining what before that questions until you land at a simple, actionable step you can take this week. For writing a book, the chain might be published book, formatted manuscript, final edits, first full draft, chapter 1, outline, brainstorm, core ideas, read 3 books in the genre. Your first step: read 3 books in my genre. This method makes an overwhelming goal immediately approachable. Now take that chain of steps and put them on a timeline. This is your project skeleton. Be ruthlessly realistic about time. Double your initial estimates for how long each step will take. This buffer is not pessimism. It is strategic respect for the unpredictability of life. The plan is not a rigid prison sentence. It is your best guess route. Write it down. Seeing the path from start to finish is a powerful motivator. It proves to your brain that the goal is achievable because you can see the logical sequence. It turns a mountain back into a series of manageable hills. But what about when you get off track? This is where your compass comes in. Your compass is your core purpose statement for this goal. Not lose 20 pounds, but to have vibrant energy to play with my kids. Not get a promotion, but to lead a team that does meaningful work. When you miss a step on your map, and you will, don't just quit in shame. Pause, look at your compass, your deeper why. Ask, does this misstep mean I'm off course, or do I just need to adjust my route? Often, you can find a different action that still aligns with your purpose. The map shows the how. The compass ensures the why remains true. Liam learned his lesson. For his next hike, he spent an evening with his map. He traced the main trail, identified landmarks, and noted a bailout point if weather turned bad. On the trail, he checked his compass at every junction. When he took a wrong turn to photograph a waterfall, he didn't panic. He consulted his tools, corrected his course, and continued, enjoying the detour without losing his way. He reached the summit not exhausted and defeated, but energized and proud. Your goals deserve the same respect. Don't just charge toward them, chart them. Build your map, carry your compass, and enjoy the journey with the confidence of someone who knows exactly how to get from here to there. What is your Misty Ridge, and what is the very first step on your map? Chapter 7: Reading People and Situations. Anya was baffled. Her project proposal, logically flawless and data-rich, had just been shut down by the senior team. Her colleague, Ben, with a less detailed but more story-driven pitch the week before, got a full budget. "It's not fair," she vented to a mentor. Her mentor smiled and asked, "Anya, you sold the idea to the logic part of their brains. But who in that room was most afraid of this project failing? What were they really worried about?" Anya realized she had been presenting to a room of titles, not a group of people with fears, ambitions, and histories. She had missed the human game entirely. Strategy isn't just about logic and plans. It's about understanding the hearts and minds in the room. We often think of strategy in sterile terms: plans, metrics, SWOT analyses. But every plan is executed by and through people. Ignoring the human element is like planning a military campaign without considering the terrain. People are your most complex and important terrain. Reading people isn't about manipulation. It's about empathy and insight. It's understanding that every person operates from a mix of logic, emotion, ingrained habits, and personal narratives. Your ability to accurately perceive these undercurrents, to see the world from their hilltop, not just yours, becomes your most powerful tool for influence, collaboration, and persuasion. Start by practicing motive mapping. In any interaction, especially a difficult one, pause and ask yourself 2 questions. 1. What does this person say they want? Their stated position. 2. What might they truly need or fear? Their underlying interest. The boss who micromanages might say they want perfection, but they might truly fear being blamed if something goes wrong. The client who is stubborn might say they want feature X, but they might truly need to feel heard and secure. When you address the underlying interest, you often solve the stated problem effortlessly. You move from arguing over positions to collaborating on solutions. Next, develop your skill of active observation. In your next meeting, don't just listen to words. Watch body language: who leans in when a certain topic arises, who crosses their arms. Notice who speaks after whom. This reveals alliances and influence. Listen for the values behind their words. Are they emphasizing speed, safety, innovation, or tradition? This data gives you a rich picture of the social and emotional landscape. You are no longer just a participant in a conversation. You are a student of human dynamics. This knowledge lets you frame your ideas in ways that resonate with the values and concerns already in the room. Anya went back to the drawing board. She scheduled one-on-one chats with the key decision makers, not to repitch, but to ask questions. What's the biggest challenge your department is facing this quarter? Looking back, what made our most successful project work so well? She listened. She learned that the CFO was worried about hidden maintenance costs, and the VP of sales needed a wow factor for clients. For her next proposal, she led with a story of a client's problem, the sales hook, included a clear, long-term cost analysis, the CFO's peace of mind, and wrapped her logic in their language. The proposal was approved unanimously. Mastering this turns you from a blunt instrument into a precision tool. You spend less energy pushing against resistance and more energy sailing with the winds of human nature. You build stronger alliances, anticipate conflicts before they blow up, and craft messages that truly land. Remember, people are not obstacles to your strategy. They are the medium through which it becomes real. Start seeing the human chessboard. Understand the hopes and fears that move the pieces. When you learn to read the room, you gain the power to truly lead it. Who in your life do you need to understand better today? Chapter 8. The Art of Smart Moves, Not Just Busy Work. Sam and Alex were both given a week to clear a cluttered, overgrown garden. Sam attacked the first patch he saw with furious energy, pulling weeds, hacking at vines from dawn till dusk. He was a whirlwind of activity. Alex spent the first morning just walking the garden, identifying the giant, thorny bush whose roots were choking everything else. On the second day, he dug out that one main bush. For the rest of the week, with the core problem gone, he systematically cleared the rest with ease. Sam, meanwhile, was exhausted, his cleared patches already being reclaimed by shoots from the untouched central bush. Activity does not equal achievement. The strategist's art is finding the one move that makes all other moves easier or even unnecessary. We live in a culture that worships busyness. We wear our full calendars and long to-do lists as badges of honor, but busyness is often a trap, a way to feel productive while avoiding the hard, strategic thinking about what truly matters. It's easier to answer 50 emails than to write the one pivotal proposal. It's easier to tidy your desk than to start the difficult conversation. This chapter is about breaking the busyness habit and replacing it with leveraged action. Leveraged action asks, What is the single most impactful thing I can do right now that will make everything else easier or fall into place? This is the 80-20 principle applied to your effort. 80% of your results will come from 20% of your actions. Your job is to find that 20%. Identifying your high-leverage move requires the skills you've built. Zooming out Chapter 1 to see the whole garden, asking the right questions Chapter 4 to find the root bush. For any project or goal, ask yourself, if I could only accomplish one thing today to move this forward, what would have the biggest ripple effect? Often, it's the task you're avoiding because it's difficult, uncertain, or requires deep focus. It might be making the key phone call, building the prototype, or drafting the first page. It is almost never organize my files or check industry news. High-leverage moves feel weighty. They move the needle. Once you've identified it, you must protect it. This is where strategic scheduling comes in. Block a specific, sacred time on your calendar for your high-leverage task, your power hour. Treat this block with the importance of a meeting with the CEO. Turn off notifications, close your door, and focus. Do not let the small, urgent weeds of emails and minor requests invade this space. The rest of your day can be for maintenance and reaction. This block is for construction and creation. By securing just one focused hour a day for leveraged action, you will outpace months of frantic, scattered busy work. Sam learned the hard way. Seeing Alex's clean garden and calm demeanor, he asked for advice. Alex said, "You worked on the symptoms, I worked on the system." Now Sam approaches tasks differently. Before a busy week, he spends 30 minutes on Friday identifying the 2-3 high-leverage moves for the following week. He schedules them first. The small stuff gets fit in around the edges or delegated. His output has skyrocketed and his stress has plummeted. He is no longer a servant to his to-do list. He is the master architect of his impact. Embrace this shift. At the start of each day, resist the urge to dive into your inbox. Pause, look at your map, Chapter 6. Ask, what is my one high-leverage move for today? Write it down. Commit to doing it before noon. This simple practice will transform your relationship with work and time. You will end days with a profound sense of accomplishment, not just exhaustion. You will stop being a gardener endlessly pulling weeds and become the landscape architect who designs a garden where fewer weeds can grow. What is the thorny bush in your most important project that, if removed, would change everything? Chapter 9. Turning obstacles into stepping stones. The tech startup's launch was a disaster. A major bug corrupted user data on day one. The news sites that were supposed to cover their launch instead wrote about their failure. The team, led by Maya, was devastated. One engineer suggested they pack up. Maya, feeling sick, called a post-mortem meeting, but she framed it differently. "We're not here to mourn, we're here to mine." This crash exposed something. What golden nugget of truth did we just pay a high price to learn? That shift from "we failed" to "we learned" changed everything. The obstacle became the foundation for their future success. Our natural instinct when we hit a wall is to see it as a stop sign. We feel shame, frustration, and a desire to quit or go back. The strategist reframes the wall. Is it a stop sign, or is it simply part of the terrain? Could it be a diverting sign pointing to a better path, or even raw material to build a step up? This mindset, called antifragility, is the ability to gain strength from shocks and setbacks. It's not about being unbreakable, resilient. It's about becoming better because of the break. Every obstacle carries within it information, strength, or an opportunity you would never have found on the easy path. The first tool for this is the obstacle autopsy. When you face a setback, conduct a calm, facts-only investigation. Step 1, what exactly happened? Just the facts, no drama. Step 2, what part did we control? Step 3, what did we learn about our product, our customer, our process, or ourselves? Step 4, based on this, what is one small thing we can change immediately? This process drains the emotional poison from a failure and extracts the practical lesson. It turns a vague feeling of "I messed up" into a specific, actionable insight. Our testing didn't account for slow internet connections. We need to build an offline mode. The second tool is the pivot, not panic protocol. When your original plan is clearly blocked, you have three choices. 1. Push through is more force the right answer. 2. Go around, is there a different path to the same goal? 3. Redefine the goal, has this obstacle revealed a better destination? The panic response is to blindly push or give up. The strategic response is to calmly assess which of these three is wisest. Often, going around or redefining leads to a more innovative and powerful outcome than the original plan ever could have. The obstacle wasn't a barrier, it was a guide. Maya's team did their autopsy. They learned their backup systems were weak and that their users valued data safety above all else. They didn't just fix the bug. They built an industry-leading, transparent data recovery and security feature. They then pivoted their marketing message from the easiest app to the most trustworthy app. They reached out to the journalists who covered their failure with a humble story of their fix. The resulting comeback story got more attention than their original launch ever would have. The disaster became their defining competitive advantage. The obstacle didn't break them, it forged them into something stronger. Start applying this to your small stumbles. Miss a deadline, autopsy it. Was the timeline unrealistic or did a distraction creep in? Learn, adjust. Have a difficult conversation backfire, autopsy it. Did you misread their motive? Chapter 7. Learn, adjust. Each time you are not failing, you are conducting a learning experiment. You are gathering data to upgrade your personal operating system. Soon, you will catch yourself facing problems with curiosity instead of dread. You'll ask, what is this here to teach me? And how can this make my position better? With this mindset, there are no dead ends, only new directions. What recent setback can you perform a curious, non-judgmental autopsy on today? Chapter 10. When to stand firm and when to bend. Old Oak and young Reed lived by the river. When a great storm came, Oak stood proud and rigid against the wind, while Reed bent low, touching the ground. Oak's mighty roots held, but his trunk snapped. Reed was battered but sprang back when the storm passed. The riverbank lesson is ancient. Strength is not just in resistance. It is in the wise choice between resistance and flexibility. In our lives, we face constant storms of opposition, criticism, and changing circumstances. The strategic mind knows that dogged stubbornness can break you, and endless flexibility can make you irrelevant. The art is in discerning when to be the oak and when to be the reed. We often confuse being strategic with being cunning or always giving in. Or we confuse being principled with being inflexible. True strategy requires both a strong core and adaptive tactics. Your core values, your ultimate why, your compass, are your oak. These should be non-negotiable. You stand firm here. Your methods, your plans, your assumptions, these are your reeds. They must be flexible enough to sway with the winds of new information, feedback, and reality. The most common mistake is to treat a preferred method as if it were a core principle, leading to needless conflict and broken plans. So how do you decide? Use the stand-bend test. When faced with pressure to change course, ask, am I being asked to compromise a core value or just change a tactic? If your integrity, ethics, or fundamental well-being is on the line, stand firm. Plant your roots, communicate clearly, and hold the line. This builds immense respect and trust over time. If you're being asked to change a process, a feature, a timeline, or an approach to better achieve the shared goal, bend. Be the reed. Adapt willingly. This shows intelligence, collaboration, and focus on outcomes over ego. The key to bending well is to do it from a position of strength, not weakness. This is adaptive confidence. It means you change your mind not because you are flimsy, but because you are secure enough to admit that new data has improved your understanding. Announce the pivot clearly. Based on what we've learned about the client's needs, I recommend we change our approach to X. This better serves our core goal of Y. This frames flexibility as strategic strength, not error correction. It turns a potential loss of face into a demonstration of mastery and situational awareness. Practice this with low-stakes situations. In a team meeting, if someone suggests a better way to run a weekly update, bend easily, it's a tactic. If someone suggests fudging numbers in a report, stand firm, it's a value. In your personal life, if your workout buddy suggests a different exercise routine, bend, it's a method. If they pressure you to skip a family commitment to hang out, stand firm, it's a priority. Each time you consciously choose stand or bend, you strengthen your strategic judgment. You become known as someone who is both reliable and reasonable, principled and practical. The strategist is neither a rigid statue nor a weather vane spinning in the wind. They are a resilient, living system. They have deep roots in their purpose and values, which gives them the stability to be remarkably flexible in their actions. They know that sometimes the most powerful stand is to yield on the small point to win the larger game. And they know that sometimes yielding on the core point means losing yourself. Learn to feel the difference in the wind. Is this a storm that will pass, requiring me to bend temporarily? Or is this a fundamental erosion of my ground, requiring me to stand and fortify? Your wisdom in this choice defines your long-term strength and success. Where in your life right now do you need to be more oak, and where do you need to be more reed? Chapter 11. Building Your Counsel, the Strategy of Relationships. Young Arjun was a brilliant, driven coder who believed sheer skill would guarantee his success. He worked alone, late into the night, perfecting his craft. When he launched his app, it was technically superb but missed the market completely. He watched in frustration as less elegant apps built by teams soared. His mentor finally told him, "Arjun, you built a perfect engine, but you forgot to consult the map makers, the mechanics, and the drivers. No one wins alone. Even a king has a council." Your network is not just a contact list. It is your personal strategic council, a curated group of allies, mentors, and connectors who multiply your vision, cover your blind spots, and open doors you didn't know existed. The myth of the lone genius is just that, a myth. Behind every great achievement is a web of support, advice, and collaboration. Strategic thinking about relationships means moving from a transactional view, what can I get, to a relational view, what can we build? Your counsel should include different roles. The mentor, wise, been there, the peer ally in the trenches with you, the connector who knows everyone, and the realist who challenges your assumptions. You don't formally appoint them. You naturally cultivate these relationships through respect, curiosity, and mutual value. They are your external brain trust. Building this counsel starts with a shift from seeking to giving. Become a value-first person. When you meet someone interesting, ask, "How can I help them?" Maybe you can share an article, make an introduction, or offer a specific piece of feedback. This builds goodwill and establishes you as a contributor, not just a taker. People are naturally drawn to those who add value to their lives. As you consistently do this, you will find that help returns to you tenfold, often from unexpected directions. Your counsel forms organically around this cycle of mutual support. You are not networking, you are building a community. A crucial part of your counsel is finding mentors. Don't ask, "Will you be my mentor?" It's too vague and burdensome. Instead, ask for specific, time-bound advice. You've navigated a career shift so well. Could I buy you a 20-minute coffee next week to ask 3 questions about how you did it? This is respectful and easy to say yes to. Show that you've done your homework and value their specific experience. After the meeting, follow up with what you did with their advice. This turns a one-time meeting into the seed of an ongoing relationship. A mentor's greatest reward is seeing their wisdom put into action. Arjun took the advice to heart. He started attending meetups not to pitch but to listen. He offered free help to a marketer struggling with a tech issue. He asked a seasoned product manager for feedback on his next idea over coffee. Slowly, he built a small group. The marketer became his ally, the product manager his part-time mentor, a designer he helped became a collaborator. On his next project, he ran his ideas by this informal council. They spotted the market fit issue early, suggested features he'd never considered, and even provided beta testers. The launch wasn't a solo struggle. It was a team victory. Your counsel amplifies your reach, accelerates your learning, and cushions your falls. They are the ones who will tell you the hard truth, celebrate your wins, and open the next door. Invest in these relationships with genuine care and reciprocity. Remember, strategy is a team sport played on the field of human connection. Look around you today. Who are the potential council members already in your life? Who has wisdom you lack? Who shares your drive? Reach out, offer value, ask a thoughtful question. Start weaving your web of strategic support. No one reaches the summit alone. They reach it with a great team behind them. Who will be on yours? Chapter 12. The Long Game, Playing for Legacy, Not Just Points. Two stonecutters were asked what they were doing. The first, looking miserable, said, "I'm cutting this damned rock into blocks." The second, whose eyes shone with purpose, said, "I'm building a cathedral." Both did the same daily work, but one saw a chore while the other saw a legacy. In a world obsessed with quarterly results, instant likes, and quick wins, it's easy to become the first stonecutter. We chase points, the next promotion, the bigger house, the external validation. The long game player is the cathedral builder. They ask a different question. What am I building that will outlast me? This shift from points to legacy is the heart of profound strategic thinking. Playing the long game means aligning your daily actions with a timeline that stretches decades, not days. It's understanding that the most valuable things in life, trust, mastery, reputation, wisdom, strong relationships, compound slowly. You cannot rush them. A quick win that burns a bridge sacrifices long-term trust for a short-term gain. A flashy but shallow skill fades next to deep, patient mastery. The strategist chooses investments that pay off over years, consistently showing up for a friend, steadily building a skill, diligently nurturing their integrity. These choices often look unimpressive in the moment but create an unshakable foundation for a meaningful life. To play this game, you need a legacy filter. This is a mental lens you apply to big decisions. Ask, if I continue on this current path for 5 years, what will I have built? What will my relationships be like? Who will I have become? Then ask the harder question. Is that the person I want to be and the life I want to have? The answers can be startling. They might reveal you're collecting points in a game you don't even care about winning. The legacy filter helps you exit short-term games that are draining you and redirect your energy toward the long-term projects that truly light you up and leave a positive mark. The engine of the long game is consistency over intensity. The intense burst of effort for a New Year's resolution fizzles by February, but the tiny daily habit, writing one page, practicing one skill drill, making one thank you call, compounds into something monumental. This is the strategic magic of showing up, even at 1% effort, every single day. The calendar is a more powerful force than the stopwatch. Your daily routine is the chisel. Your legacy is the cathedral it slowly, surely reveals from the stone of your potential. Forget motivational sprints. Design a sustainable system you can maintain for years. Playing the long game also requires patience with plateaus. On the path to mastery or building anything great, you will hit long stretches where visible progress seems to stop. This is where most people quit, believing nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, neural pathways are solidifying, understanding is deepening, and character is being forged. The strategist trusts the process during these plateaus. They know this is not wasted time, it is essential incubation time. They keep showing up, doing the work, faith in the eventual breakthrough. This quiet perseverance is the superpower of the legacy builder. Start today by identifying one cathedral you want to build in your life. It could be your family's culture, your expertise in a field, a body of creative work, or a community you serve. Then define the one small, daily stone-cutting habit that builds it. Commit to that habit above all else. Let the flashy points chasers race past you. Their race is short. You are in a different, grander marathon. Your reward is not a fleeting trophy, but a life of depth, impact, and meaning. A legacy that stands long after you're gone. What is your cathedral, and what is your first, small, consistent cut? Chapter 13. Fuel for the Journey, Energy and Focus. Arya, a brilliant strategist, could design flawless plans, yet she kept failing to execute them. By 3 p.m. each day, her brain was foggy, her willpower gone. She blamed a lack of discipline. Then she tracked her energy for a week. She discovered the truth. Her strategic fuel was leaking everywhere. The constant ping of Slack messages shattered her focus. Sugary lunches caused an afternoon crash. Late-night Netflix binges left her drained in the morning. She was trying to drive a Formula One car with a clogged fuel line and flat tires. No strategy, no matter how brilliant, can succeed without the personal energy to power it. You are the system that runs your system. We often treat our time as our most limited resource, but that's wrong. Time is fixed. Everyone gets 24 hours. Your energy and focus are the true limited resources. They are the fuel and the precision steering for your strategic engine. You can have a map to a gold mine, but if you're out of gas, you'll never get there. This chapter is about strategic resource management for yourself. It's about designing your days, your habits, and your environment to maximize your mental and physical fuel so you can think clearly, decide wisely, and act consistently when it matters most. Your first task is to become an energy auditor. For 3 days, simply observe. What people, tasks, or habits leave you feeling energized and clear-headed? What drains you, leaving you anxious or tired? You might find that a certain type of meeting fuels you, while unstructured social media scrolling drains you. You might notice you have a peak focus period in the morning and a physical energy peak in the late afternoon. This data is priceless. It allows you to schedule your priorities within your energy peaks. Put your high-leverage, deep-thinking work, Chapter 8, in your focus peak. Schedule administrative tasks or physical activity in your lower focus periods. Next, defend your focus like a fortress. The enemy is context switching. Every time your attention is pulled from a deep task to check a notification, it takes an average of 23 minutes to refocus. This is a massive fuel leak. Implement focus sprints. Set a timer for 60-90 minutes. During this sprint, turn phone to airplane mode, close all irrelevant browser tabs, and put up a Do Not Disturb sign if possible. Work on only your high-leverage task. When the timer rings, take a true break, walk, stretch, hydrate. This rhythm, sprint plus break, aligns with your brain's natural ultradian cycles, maximizing sustainable output and minimizing burnout. Finally, master the strategic recharge. Willpower and focus are muscles that fatigue. They are replenished by sleep, nutrition, movement, and true leisure. View these not as indulgent luxuries, but as non-negotiable maintenance for your primary asset, you. Protect your sleep as you would a critical business meeting. Choose food that stabilizes your energy, not spikes it. Build short movement breaks into your day to reset your mind. And schedule guilt-free leisure that genuinely relaxes you. It's not wasted time, it's refueling time. A rested, nourished, calm mind makes exponentially better strategic choices than a fried, depleted one. Arya made changes based on her audit. She scheduled a power block from 9:11 a.m., silencing all notifications. She meal prepped healthy lunches. She set a strict 10 p.m. device curfew. Within 2 weeks, her afternoon fog vanished. She executed her plans with a new, steady ease. She realized self-management is the first and most important strategy. You cannot outthink a tank on empty. Start your audit today. Listen to your body and mind. Design your days around your energy, not against it. Protect your focus fiercely. Recharge without guilt. When you are fully fueled and sharply focused, you become an unstoppable force for turning your strategic visions into reality. How will you refuel today? Chapter 14. Teaching Your Superpower to Others. Lena had transformed her team using strategic thinking. Projects ran smoothly, problems were solved at the root, morale was high. When she was promoted to lead a whole department, she faced a dilemma. Her old team thrived, but the new department was stuck in reactive chaos. She could try to control everything herself, becoming a bottleneck and burning out. Or she could do something radical, teach them her superpower. She chose to teach. She started holding weekly strategy labs, not status meetings. Within months, she wasn't leading a department. She was leading a league of strategists, all making smart moves. Her impact multiplied far beyond her own reach. The highest leverage move a strategist can make is to codify and share their thinking process. When you hoard strategic insight, you are a single point of strength. When you teach it, you create a culture of strength. Your influence expands exponentially. This isn't about giving away your secret sauce. It's about raising the collective intelligence of every group you're part of, your team, your family, your community. A team of people who think ahead, ask good questions, and plan effectively is unbeatable. Your legacy as a strategist is not just what you built, but how many builders you created. Start by making your thinking visible. When you make a decision, briefly explain your process to those involved. Here's how I'm looking at this. I zoomed out and saw X, so our key question became why using the 5 whys. We found the root cause was Z, that's why I'm choosing option A. This isn't boasting, it's modeling. You are showing the mental machinery behind the outcome. People learn by seeing the process in action. Soon, they'll start to emulate the steps, asking better questions and considering the bigger picture before bringing problems to you. Create simple, shared tools. Introduce your team or family to the 5 whys for problem solving or the decision engine 2-page template for big choices. Frame it as, I found a method that helps cut through confusion. Let me show you how it works. Use it together in a real situation. This gives people a practical scaffold to hang strategic thinking on. It turns an abstract concept into a usable habit. Celebrate when someone uses a tool well, focusing on the improved thinking, not just the result. This reinforces the behavior and builds a common language of strategy. Shift your role from solver to coach. When someone brings you a problem, resist the urge to immediately give the answer. Instead, ask coaching questions. What's the real goal here? What does the bigger picture look like? What's one option you haven't considered? Guide them to discover their own solution. This takes patience but builds capability and confidence. You are teaching them to fish, not giving them a fish. Over time, you'll get fewer "what should I do?" questions and more "here's my analysis and my recommended move. What do you think?" statements. That is the sound of a strategic culture growing. Lena's department became the most innovative and efficient in the company. Other departments asked for her lab model. She had started a ripple effect. By teaching her superpower, she didn't make herself obsolete. She made herself essential in a new way as a leader of leaders, a mentor of strategists. Your knowledge gains value when it is shared, not when it is stored. Look for one person or one group you can start teaching today. Share one concept from this book. Model one tool. Ask one coaching question. As you lift others up, you don't stay in place. You rise with them. Who will be the first person you empower with a piece of your strategic superpower? Chapter 15. The Never-Ending Upgrade. Kai, a master software architect, had a personal rule. Every Friday afternoon, he explored a technology completely outside his expertise. One week it was biohacking, the next it was poetry generators. Colleagues laughed, calling it his useless hour. Yet, it was Kai who seamlessly pivoted the company's platform when a new AI trend emerged, because he'd already played with it. It was Kai who solved a user interface problem using a pattern he'd seen in a poetry structure. His useless hours were his secret weapon, a dedicated system for staying ahead of a changing world. The final strategic superpower is knowing that mastery is not a destination, but a direction of perpetual learning. The moment you believe you have arrived, as a strategist, is the moment you begin to decline. The world is a dynamic living system. New technologies emerge, social norms shift, old rules break. A strategy that worked perfectly last year may be obsolete today. Therefore, the strategic mind itself must be in a state of constant, curious upgrade. This isn't about frantic hustling. It's about building a gentle, relentless learning rhythm into your life. You are the most important system you will ever manage, and that system requires continuous updates to stay effective, inspired, and sharp. Your growth is your strategy for staying relevant. Institutionalize your learning with the quarterly strategy checkup. Every 3 months, block 2 hours for a personal review. Ask yourself 4 questions. 1. What were my 3 biggest wins this quarter and what strategic choices led to them? 2. What was my most costly mistake or missed opportunity, and what did it teach me? 3. Is my current destination statement, Chapter 2, still true, or does it need tweaking based on what I've learned? 4. What one new skill, trend, or perspective do I need to explore in the next quarter to stay ahead? This ritual forces reflection, celebrates progress, and strategically directs your learning. It turns life into your classroom. Curate your learning diet. Just as you choose food for physical energy, choose information for mental energy. Proactively seek out ideas that challenge your assumptions. Follow a thinker you disagree with. Read a magazine from an industry unrelated to yours. Watch a documentary on a topic you know nothing about. The goal is not to become an expert in all things, but to cross-pollinate ideas. Innovation almost always happens at the intersection of different fields. By diversifying your mental inputs, you create a richer soil from which original strategic ideas can grow. You see connections others miss because their diet is too narrow. Embrace the beginner's mind regularly. Deliberately put yourself in situations where you are a novice. Take a pottery class, learn a new language app, or try a sport you've never played. The feeling of being clumsy and unskilled is uncomfortable but vitally important. It keeps you humble, empathetic to others who are learning, and it shakes your brain out of its well-worn ruts. In that state of beginner's openness, you often have breakthroughs in your primary field because you're thinking in new ways. The strategist is a lifelong student, forever curious, forever willing to be wrong in order to learn what's right. Kai's useless hours were the engine of his usefulness. He understood that in a changing game, the player who can learn the fastest holds the ultimate advantage. Your journey through this book has equipped you with a powerful framework, but the framework is just the beginning. Now you must feed it with endless curiosity. Commit to your quarterly checkup. Diversify your learning diet. Seek out the beginner's mind. The cycle of learn, adapt, and advance is the perpetual motion machine of the strategic life. You are never done, and that is not exhausting, it is exhilarating. It means the game never ends and you are always getting better at playing it. What is the first item on your new learning diet? Conclusion: the strategist's creed. Look back at the person who started reading this book. You might have felt like a passenger, reacting to life's storms, unsure of your direction. Now you hold a map, a compass, and a set of tools you know how to use. You have learned to see the whole board, to ask root cause questions, to make clear decisions, and to build plans that bend but don't break. You've practiced turning obstacles into lessons and energy into focused action. Most importantly, you've begun to think in terms of legacy and to share your superpower with others. You are not the same person. You have awakened the strategist within, and that change is permanent. You now move through the world with a new awareness, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you have a process for navigating complexity. This is not the end of your training, it is the end of the beginner's manual. The real world is your advanced dojo. Every day presents a new puzzle, a new chance to practice zooming out, to choose a high-leverage move, to stand firm or bend with wisdom. Remember the creed of the strategic thinker: I am the pilot, not the passenger. I look for the game behind the game. I trade short-term wants for long-term gains. I solve for root causes, not symptoms. I build cathedrals, not just cut stone. I protect my energy to power my purpose. I grow by learning and I lead by teaching. Carry this creed with you. Let it be the filter for your choices and the foundation of your actions. The long game awaits, and you are now equipped to play it beautifully. Go build a legacy worthy of your potential.